The phrase that you're so desperate for grievances that you have to go back into history to find them, that really says something. It pays off, they're going to keep doing it. What's painful to me is how few people there are today who bother to check out the facts. In many cases, just the smallest effort at checking out the facts would cause so many of these things to fall apart.
Well, according to Allison Jefferson, a black historian and an expert in Bruce's Beach history, she writes that the Bruce Beach guests didn't have to walk around any said property that was roped off. In her book, Living the California Dream, she writes, even though illegal, white owners of the property adjacent to the Bruces sometimes roped off the beach so African American visitors would be confined to the shoreline directly in front of Bruce's establishment. By the way, her injecting, even though illegal, is very wrong. It was very legal to do that. Property owners did it all the time, so they did not lose their properties to the city because public use was being used and an easement was created. Next, we have the Los Angeles Times in 1912 saying, visitors reported that landowner George H. Peck installed no trespassing signs on the strip of land in front of Mrs. Bruce's property. This meant the Bruce's customers could not reach the shoreline without walking a half mile around Peck's supposed oceanfront land parcel.
And they staked off the strand right here in front of the lodge with no trespassing signs and forced the people to walk a mile and a half from the resort just to get to the ocean.
To suggest it appropriate that another group of people have to walk a mile and a half to enter something that none of us own, the ocean.
All right, so a couple of years ago, it was a half a mile, so they had to walk. And then about 3 weeks ago, changed to a mile. And then just 4 days ago, Janice Hahn said it was a mile and a half. Now everyone's running with a mile and a half. I'm just curious, will there be snow added to the story next week? I mean, it's highly possible that it will be. So here we have Bruce's Beach, and we have Peck's property with the boundaries around it. As you can see, let's go down for a closer look. Yeah, so I don't think that's a mile and a half. That's actually about 20 yards. And that is Peck's legal boundary right there. And I'm just showing you the worst case scenario right here, 20 yards. So just thought I'd give you some information just so you have it. And so we can all stay on the same page. And here's your guys' mile and a half that you're up to now, which is really far. Mile and a half compared to 20 yards. Or we could go with Allison Jefferson, the black historian, expert on Bruce's Beach's final conclusions after her research, that Bruce's Beach was never roped off. And we have some photographs that may help solidify her story. What's that beachgoer laying out in front of? Bruce Beach Lodge. What are those guys standing in front of? Bruce Beach Lodge. And finally, what are these people laying out in front of? Bruce Beach Lodge. Do you see any ropes? Or no trespassing signs? Or constables? I don't.